What's going on, y'all? Now we have a $500 gaming PC in today's video in 2021, so definitely stay tuned and watch the rest of the video to check this thing out. Whoa, pause for a second here, okay? I actually want to give a shout out to my last build and my brother-in-law for helping me out, so I'm going to go ahead and throw in a couple clips of that PC. I ended up not making a full video on it, so I'm going to go ahead and throw it right here. Alright, go ahead and jump right back into the video. Okay, so first on this, I wanted to make my custom side panel, so we measured it out on where we're going to have to make these cuts to make it fit. And we used a normal box knife to go ahead and dig in so we'll be able to snap this off. It's very easy to snap these. It's just an acrylic side panel. So as you can see here, we clamped it down so it's firm and nice. And since it was so thin and small, you couldn't just snap. We kind of had to break it off. As you can see, I broke it off with a weight. But that ended up working perfectly fine, especially because we sanded it down perfectly. And as you can see, my brother-in-law had his tool with him, so he went and sanded it down real nice. And then he sanded it normally with just normal sandpaper to get that nice finished touch on it to be smoother. And here it is. I want it to be magnetic, so I went and got magnets real cheap, and I just glued them on to the sides of the panel. And here's the final product, guys. It actually looks really nice. It came out real smooth. Now this revealing I'm trying to do here did not work out that well. It was like stuck to the side panel. It did not want to come off very smoothly, but it worked out. This PC, just in case you're interested, since I didn't do a video on it, it's an i5 2500 with an R7 260X and 8GB of RAM. Now this PC would just be a little bit above in performance to the $150 gaming PC I did on this channel. So if that's what you're looking for in performance, that's where it would be about. This was a really nice build and also really fun to do with my brother-in-law because of the custom side panel we made here. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump right back into the regular video. Alright, starting off, this $500 gaming PC is this CPU. Oh man, this is an absolutely amazing price to performance CPU in 2021, especially for those gamers out there who want to get into competitive gaming, because this can hold around 120 to 144 consistently in games like Fortnite for esport titles. Alright, now we have the motherboard that's going to be housing this beast of a CPU. Of course, this is a little bit newer gen with the LGA 1200, but this is going to be the Asus Prime H470M Plus motherboard, and this will do the job just fine, used on eBay. Alright, now we got the RAM in the system, and this is a really clean kit. Okay, but seriously though, this is a clean kit of DDR4 memory, and this is at 3000 megahertz. For this PC, and it's a very clean kit of 2x8GB, so we have 16GB of RAM in this system. And here's the CPU cooler. It's disassembled in the video, but the cooler is the Snowman, and these things are ridiculous when it comes to cooling down your CPU. Later in the benchmarks, go ahead and look at the temperatures in the top left and notice that it is so cool even under high load. So the CPU cooler is an absolute banger. And now we have the storage for the system, and I love newer builds because they have those M.2 slots, and you can pick these up for pretty decent prices. So we got a 240GB SSD with the paired 1TB hard drive for this PC, and it's been working absolutely phenomenal. Alright, now we have the graphics card. And guys, this was such a deal, and there will be a video on how I got it soon. I'm going to be doing a parts hunt video to show you how I go around and find some of these parts, but I got this card for only $66.66, and why it's exactly that number is because it was a bundle deal, and so when you divide all of them up, this is the price it comes at. And powering the system, we have the EVGA 500 watt power supply. Of course, this is kind of a basic for a lot of these builds, and you can get them easily just about anywhere for around this price. Now, going along with the build, I ended up getting power supply extensions, which I've never done before, and it was such a blast building with these. It did take a little bit longer to build, but it was totally worth it. Now we have the case, and this case was so great to build in. I mean, the cable management room in the back was so easy. This is probably the easiest build I've ever done when it comes to cable management. Now you see those fans that were pre-installed in there. I actually installed them. They didn't come with the case. As you can see on the screen, there is the pack of fans. It's the Vetro A120 3-pack for $21. Not that bad. And the case is, of course, above it. Now, together, they actually work really well, as you will see later on. It looks absolutely fantastic, especially for this price point. Alright, so here is the total final price tally of this build. $491.17. Not too shabby for it being 2021. Alright, without further ado, let's go ahead and build it. Alright, let's get straight into the benchmarks. Now, of course, I like to start off with Fortnite because Fortnite is a absolute favorite among a lot of people right now. And we have it on performance mode, and the reason is because a lot of pros use that, so I'm going to go ahead and let them decide what the best settings is if you want to get into competitive gaming. And not just that, when you have it on performance mode, it stresses your CPU way more than your GPU. So getting that average of 214 FPS really shows what this i3-10100F can do, and shows how well it performs in 2021, and you could definitely play competitively on Fortnite with a PC like this. Now I'll go ahead and show you this clip real quick of me pickaxing the last guy, just for fun, because I actually had a really fun time playing on this PC. Alright, now we have PUBG at 1080p, 100% resolution scale on very low preset. Now, I threw this title in because this PC is a little bit more capable than the budget builds I normally build, so I wanted to see how could it perform in such a game as this, because this is a way harder to run game. Now, the main focus of this PC was mostly the i3-10100F and how good of a CPU that is in 2021. Now, that statement being very true, the GTX 960 is going to be the bottleneck in a game like this, because in a game like this, it's way more graphically demanding than it is CPU intensive. So if that GTX 960 was upgraded, this would have ran very well, but even with it only being a GTX 960, we still got an average of 97 FPS, which is absolutely ridiculous on such a budget build. So definitely still worth taking a look at. Next up, we have Rogue Company on the benchmark list, and I went ahead and set the preset to high just to kind of push that GTX 960, because like we've talked about, the i3 in this system, the 10th gen i3, is more than capable of handling these games. Just absolutely ridiculously easy because it's such a good price to performance CPU in 2021. And still, with pushing the GTX 960 a little bit in this game, we still got an average of 124 FPS, and that's on high. So like I've talked about in my other videos, if you really want to hit those really high refresh rates, like 165 or 144, then all you have to do is lower the settings and your FPS will go up. So another great title that ran very well. And here we have Apex Legends. Now, I've been throwing a little bit of these harder titles at it, not to make the PC look bad. This PC is absolutely amazing, like you saw with the first benchmark, getting over 200 FPS in Fortnite. But I wanted to see how can this handle some of these harder to run games. And on Apex Legends 1080p low, it was getting an average of 86 FPS, which is actually still super reasonable for the price point of this PC. Now, like I've said before, in this case, the GPU is starting to become the bottleneck, so if you upgraded that in the future, you would still have a long life term with that i3 because of how amazing the performance is on it. But anyway, a title that ran actually very smooth on this PC. And now we threw GTA 5 at this PC to see how it's going to run it. And my $150 gaming PC could run GTA 5 decently, but it was on lower settings and at DirectX 10. So we went ahead and put it at DirectX 11, which is a little bit, better graphical things. And it still got an average of 145 FPS, which means we would still do absolutely amazing if we set it to high or very high settings. But I just went ahead and put it at the normal preset to see what kind of FPS we can pump out of this system. Another game that's going to run great. This PC, this $500 gaming PC, is really going to run any game, guys. The AAA titles, it'll run around 60 FPS, but the esport titles, it is going to run very well. And I'm talking 144 plus FPS on these titles, like we saw in Fortnite at 200 plus FPS. So this system is absolutely capable of playing competitively. Alright, y'all, that is going to wrap the video up today. I hope you enjoyed this PC build. I absolutely love it. I think it looks great, and I think it's a pretty good price to performance for 2021 with that i3 10th gen Intel in there. Now, please stay tuned because I will have more builds coming up very soon. Some more budget ones, some more cheap ones, and then eventually we will be having ones that are even higher price point than this $500 build. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one.